So low key, I've always wanted to like talk about this. Like, I've always wanted to like talk about feminism and how it's low key masked as psychological warfare in a pretty package, and in such a discreet way where it's basically unnoticeable, right? And it's this one's kind of personal too, because I've had like I grew up with so-called not really having that balance, like feminine energies, like especially when it comes to like parents, you know what I'm saying, like, and that's something that's it's something that you have to kind of go through on your personal journey growing up, balancing like your masculine and feminine energies. But anyways, I honestly do truly feel like feminism is it is psychological warfare in a pretty package, if you think about it, because they're teaching young women to emotionally be dismissive, but to also to be emotionally dismissive and to be self-sabotage at a young age, especially when you look at how most relationships with their parents, like, they start off like babying, the boys. They emotionally turn their sons into like son husbands, right? And I've been a victim of this for the most part, and it kind of sucks because I didn't really like realize it for like a couple years, you know what I'm saying? And I started to like objectively like look at feminism from like an actual optic lens, and you really start to see like, this is like a failed experiment that they're selling to like a lot of young women, especially when it comes to like the music industry. You feel me? Like, I don't even mind like the pussy rap shit like that. Like, I don't really care about that. But like the damage that is being done with the so-called niche that they're selling to women, like they're literally teaching women how to be like they're teaching women how to self-sabotage and to kill their feminine energies from like an emotional point of view, but to also to unbalance them, right? And it's just like, I don't know, I feel like that's part of why relationships don't really work nowadays. Like, relationships are very like difficult nowadays because you run into a lot of young women who've been emotionally abused and just been self-sabotaging, at least like mental health wise, from such a young age. And we grew up in a generation where a lot of boys are victims of son-husband relationships, and they've been emotionally babied, and they don't really get a chance to like balance their masculine energy, especially as they start to get older. You feel me? I also a victim of that, you know what I'm saying? And it took some time to like balance my energies throughout the years, but I've also been a victim of this, obviously. So I'm making this video, you know what I'm saying? And I just feel like, I don't know, like I feel like a lot of young girls out there need to like wake up and realize that feminism is not really what it seems. Like, no bullshit. Like, it's not Porsche. It's not what it seems. Like, dead ass. It really isn't. And this is coming from like a young man. This is coming from a dude, like, from my point perspective, I guess. I think it is. It's a pretty care package that's been sold to like a lot of women out there, and it's basically self-sabotaging behavior, and it's a means to like destroy the feminine balance. You know what I'm saying? And I also feel like that's the same reason why relationships have not been working like the past couple of decades, like dead ass. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you look at the industry and how the industry uses that as like a clickbait slash destructive target to aim towards young women. You know what I'm saying? When you kill the feminine energies, you unbalance basically everything. Like the whole like diaspora, nigga. Like the whole like, you know, quote unquote galaxy just kind of gets like tilted. You feel me? And when that happens, you get niggas like me who barely make it out alive. Like, you know, I'm a true Haitian, so I'm always gonna come out unscathed, ish. You know, I'm not like bragging or anything, but I'm looking at like other young folks of my age who are just like walking on eggshells, quote unquote, like mentally, but their energies are so unbalanced and their minds are like killed, and it's just like, I don't know, it's really hard to like interact with folks nowadays, like especially ungenuine folks, you feel me? So yeah, I think, yeah, we have a lot of work to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm still learning. I'm taking notes. I'm learning and shit. You know what I'm saying? Just came from the library. You feel me? Little woody woo. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Also, I'm finally recording this video. Daylight. You know what I'm saying?